Well, great to get a win to open the season. It was great to be at home also. One of the things watching film and seeing Casey Kelly's touchdown right down there in the boneyard and seeing a packed student section, celebrating, screaming, and just the intensity on the field. It was, great to be back playing ball again. So just like I said after the game the other night, really appreciate the students and our fan base for showing up, and had a great atmosphere and electricity in the stadium the other night, and great to get a win to open the season. A lot to clean up. I think that a lot of things to be excited about, but a lot to clean up. Happy to get the win, but certainly not satisfied with the way we played, and our players know that, and they're very motivated to get those things corrected this week, and we have to. Playing a very good Old Dominion team, who I promise you they're kicking themselves right now because they had South Carolina beat, and really they dominated the line of scrimmage defensively down in Columbia last Saturday. And if it wasn't for a couple of turnovers inside the 5 that basically gave South Carolina 2 touchdowns, they're sitting here with a win over an SEC team coming into this game. So very good team we're facing on the road at their place. It'll be a hostile environment. I'm positive that we're going to have plenty of purple up there. We've got a lot of fans in that region, and it's a 2-hour drive from here. So I know the Pirates will show up, and our players are very excited about this game. So we've got to have a great week of practice. Can't make the mistakes we made last week. Got to make sure that we go and play a clean ball game. But it's going to be a good one now Saturday night. So excited about it. Questions?
The 6 turnovers, kind of a variety of things. How quickly, easily do you think you can get them fixed?
I think they're all, very fixable. Not anything extreme. They're all a little bit different. But as you look across, college football across the country this weekend, you saw a lot of that stuff. Obviously we had a little bit more than you ever want. But we got to take care of the football. And so we got to get those corrected, but we'll get that corrected. We worked on it last night, so the guys saw everything, and then that's going to be a stress this week during practice.
Coach, how did the communications go into the quarterback and into the linebackers? And in that communications, do you hear everything that goes on the coordinator side? Yeah,
I thought it was great. We're monkeying around with the system. Coach Com, they're getting feedback from everybody in the country this week, and so one of the things is you got to figure out how to turn the volume up a little bit, because you get in a stadium that's pretty loud. There was a little bit of issue hearing the communication, but it was very clear. I think it helped. I think it's a plus for us. So I'm glad we got to use it and work out some kinks.
Just seeing this offense, the first time in a game setting, do you kind of feel like you guys dictated the pace you wanted to, and just even defensive personnel-wise, just the way you guys moved?
Yeah, I thought, the first series, I thought we were really excited to be out there, and we were going pretty fast. But I thought really after the first series, we got very comfortable with the tempo and the pace. I liked the pace that we played at. It's you eliminate a couple of the mistakes, and we got some potential to be pretty dynamic. So I was excited about it. It was good to see it, and I'm glad our fans got to see it too.
East Carolina's had guys in the past like Dwayne Harris, Chris Johnson, a guy that you coached, Tyler Snead, that you wanted to watch return kicks because you thought that they could break it at any time. And Winston Wright seems like a guy that could do that.
Yeah, I think Winston's certainly a talented young man, and I think that Coach Powell has done a great job with our schemes. We've talked about that a lot. I'm glad everybody got to see that on display. Had 2 kickoff returns, and really, both of them had a shot. We got to clean some stuff up. We had a couple of missed blocks that kept it from going to the house. But we got to clean that up this week. But, punt returns, we had a couple of long punt returns. We've got a couple of mistakes right there we got to clean up. But I thought overall our special teams were fairly solid for the opener. Now we got to be solid this weekend, because it'll be a big factor in the game.
Going off that, what was kind of the balance obviously Winston and Javius are two of your more dynamic offensive players, but
Yeah.
not afraid to put them on special teams because they can change the game.
Well, I think you've got one, you want them to touch the ball as much as possible. And obviously, Javius has dealt with a little bit of injury during preseason, so, don't overload him in the first game. But, those two guys will get plenty of touches, throughout the year. But anytime they got the ball in their hands, they can make something happen. You also have depth at both positions. Jari Patterson, he's probably going to be back full speed this week, and so you got another guy there in the slot that if Winston breaks a long kickoff return and needs a quick blow, then you can get Jari there to start a series. So I think it's we're fortunate to have two guys like that as returners.
Coach, what were some of the biggest particulars that stood out from the Old Dominion film that you're attacking in practice this week?
Well, I think first is how solid they are up front and in the box. I'll tell you, at nose guard number 8, he's a man now, and we got our hands full with him. All three of those down linemen did a really good job. They got a couple of guys that come in where there's no drop off. Their linebackers are very active. The middle safety number 5, he's all over the place. They're a very aggressive defense, and they present a lot of problems. It's a little bit of a different scheme. But they do a really good job coaching it. I thought their secondary, which they got a lot of new guys in the secondary, but they're older, experienced guys. I thought they played really well. South Carolina struggled to move the football Saturday, and so I think that says a lot about them defensively. Offensively, ODU does a lot of things similar to what we do, and so I think that maybe we should be able to get a good look from our scout team this week during practice. But the one thing they have is they've been running this offense for a couple of years, so they've got a lot of experience running it. And so, they're going to have some wrinkles and things that, we haven't seen yet. So, we've got to do a great job this week of, working to be prepared for that.
Coach, obviously injuries are part of the game. You don't have to ever go away from your top 5 offensive line.
Right.
Who's got in and looks really good, at least to the untrained guy. Do you think that was a confidence builder for a lot of guys who haven't seen a ton of game action?
Yeah, I think it's great to get in there. Now, McCrimmon, I don't think he was expecting to go in as early as he did when Kojo's helmet came off, but he did fine. We got some good young offensive linemen that are going to be, solid players for us in time. It was good to get them some experience there. It was good to get London some experience, and I thought he did a good job when he got in there of, really getting north and south in the run game. And we used a lot of guys at the skill positions that got playing time the other night and, got a chance to make some plays. So just excited about all the personnel we were able to play the other night.
Yeah, I was going to ask, kind of go off that with Chase banged up. How exciting was it to see really almost no drop off at receiver, just kind of across the board playing 7-8 guys there?
I was very pleased about how they played. Anthony Smith obviously had the touchdown and had a big night receiving, but he also was, very good on the perimeter blocking. Had a pancake on one of the screens out wide. Brock Spalding, did a great job blocking, did a great job, receiving, running after the catch. He was the kind of the lead blocker on Winston's 2 kickoff returns, and kind of the one that sprung him. And I'll tell you, he's a good ball player. And then you talk about the other names, Winston Wright, Casey Kelly, DeCirio, Savage. We had so many guys that had solid nights. Yannick Smith, first career catches. Keelan had a catch. I mean, you just got a lot of guys, and I'm glad we got that depth because we're going to need it. It's a long season. Chase will be back, and be excited to get him back when when he's ready to go. But I was just very pleased with how our skill position players played on offense.
Jake threw 3 picks the other night, but he seemed so unfazed and unbothered because he kept going out there and bouncing back. He even said it in the post game the other night that he ran off the field after one smiling. So with that mentality, what does that say about him as a quarterback?
Well, I think you got to have thick skin and a short-term memory at that position. We always talk about the next play. The most important play is the next play. And I thought he did a good job of, taking that that mantra the other night. He talked about the goldfish mentality, which we've talked about a good bit. But I think you have to be that way at that position. Certainly you got to learn from your mistakes, and they're not okay. But you can't let one mistake turn into two. And I thought he did a really good job of that. He had the mistakes right there. He also threw 4 touchdown passes and threw for over 300 yards and made some really, really great throws the other night. So I think it's, game one, he'll get the decision making and the corrections that he needs to eliminate those. And I would bet you're going to see him play better and better every time out.
Coach, your defense was locked down on Saturday. How do you challenge them to take the next step heading into Old Dominion?
Well, we're not playing an FCS team this week. We played Norfolk State. I don't know what they're going to be. I mean, they're not a bad team by any means, but they're not a Sun Belt team. They're not an American Athletic Conference team. We're going to see a pretty steep increase in talent that we're going against this week, and so we've got to step it up. We played really, really well defensively last week, but I want to see us do it against a good football team. And so we got challenged Saturday night up in Norfolk.
Any other questions?
Coach, KJ Merrill and Jamali Riddle, first game action. How do you think they did as freshmen?
Pretty good. I was nervous. I don't know if they were, but I was. You just never know with freshmen, and you stick them out there in the secondary. I thought they handled themselves well. Jamali had a tackle on a kickoff. KJ had a big hit on the quarterback on a pressure. They both played well defensively. They're both going to be really good football players in time. And, we've talked about it all preseason camp with all the young kids. It's just, everybody's time is different, because they all want to go out there and play a ton right now. But, you got to wait your time. You got to be ready when your number's called. And I was excited to see those guys be able to get some playing time the other night. That'll only help them moving forward.